The loyalty in football, gone are the times when you get a Noble, you get a Gerrard to let him go. He is literally the crown jewel for us, and his
Yeah.
performances haven't faltered. He got injured, come back, and still hitting them, high performance. So we're so lucky that there are three worse teams than us. And I mean, I wasn't talking to any Man U fans at the time, but I mean, they're going to be so up for it. And why
Yeah.
not? You get to play in the Premier League. Some of them players probably haven't played in the Premier League.
Limelight. You can see Cole Palmer in the background going, "What is he doing?" Like, he's like he's dead in view of Palmer. So Palmer's like that, you know.
Yeah.
Welcome back to One Way Football's one-on-one fan talk, and today I'm joined here with a brand new guest on the show. His name is Izzy. How are we, Izzy? How are we doing, mate?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Surviving the hot weather, and yeah, I hope you're doing well too.
Well, I was just telling you then when I was like, one minute it's like roasting hot, and then up in Manchester where I'm living, it's pissing it down. It's like we've got a storm up here. I mean, I'm
Well,
a southerner. I'm originally from Essex, so you can't beat that southern coast, like weather. But
yeah, no, it's looking a bit overcast here, but as I say, I'm looking forward to a little bit of a downturn in temperature. Not too much, but just a little bit.
yeah, as some of you might have already noticed, Izzy is wearing his colours. He is a diehard West Ham fan. Go
Lions,
on, you Irons, go on, you Irons. Um,
Lions.
and we're gonna talk about some of the situations that have happened in the transfer window. Was you happy with the way West Ham performed last season, where they finished? Also as well with Graham as well being in charge. What your thoughts on this? And we're going to start off with Kudus leaving to Tottenham, probably one of your key players in the team. We've seen this in recent years. Me being an Arsenal fan, we bought Declan Rice off you. And is it just an ongoing thing where you get your hopes up about a player and then they seem to just move on to one of your rivals because it just it's becoming a bit of a groundhog day for West Ham, isn't it?
I think it's just, firstly, the loyalty in football, gone are the times when you get a Noble, you get a Gerrard. So shouldn't be too kind of surprised. But I think the thing for me, and I think a lot of the fans, obviously, a lot of fans are sort of in between about him going, but we've sold to a rival again, and we've sold him, in my opinion, for cheap. Now he didn't have a good season last year.
What
He
was his
actually
price
performed.
again? Was it 55 or
I think yeah, it's about
about
54.5.
55?
I think it was.
With add-ons, probably talking about 70 odd or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not too sure of the add-ons, but
Right.
I mean, in terms of, his release clause, I think was 80 mil. I think it was something like that. And it's a rival again, Tottenham, who and they're quite shrewd with their business. And we've kind of just, I feel more aggrieved that we've let him go for so cheap. Now, he didn't play well last year. He kind of played well against the big clubs, and he had a really good first season with us. So there's that element to it. But I've always felt there's a potential with him, and I think he's a bit of a raw talent. And I just think he'll thrive with Tottenham. So we shouldn't really be letting him go to a rival for that cheap. But
Does it
also,
feel like a bit of a betrayal with him though, or is it just business with you?
I think, yeah, like I said, I think with the loyalty with players nowadays, he doesn't really have any loyalty to us, to be fair to him. We've bought him. So I don't feel bad in that sense. But with all the sort of, and also with I haven't watched any of the videos he's done with Tottenham, but I understand that, he's all touching the badge and all that sort of palaver. We've seen it a million times before, if he does well, he'll probably be off from there, in a couple of seasons. And
I
he's
just want to
signed
hit
for
on as well.
Tottenham.
They called him Starboy. There's only one Starboy in that frame, and that's Saka. I'm sorry, but
Thought it was Saka, wasn't it? To be fair, I was calling him Starboy. I think
yeah,
when he was
yeah,
at West Ham, but no, yeah, we'll change that to just Judas now.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think he'll thrive under Tottenham. To be fair, I think they'll play a system that suits him. I think his best position's on the right. We had Bowen on the right, and
Mm.
obviously he wasn't really going to take his place. So he was kind of. I can understand. Also, probably he was a bit frustrated at the club. But my main thing is we sold him to a rival for too cheap, and it also and how that like selling of the player presents us as a club. Like you just attributed to. At least with Rice, we got a fair deal for him.
Yeah, you got a
But
good
with
price for him. I think it's at the time. think a lot of us were in shock that it's like 100 million. Because it is a lot of money these days, 100 million. Some of these
Yeah,
players that like, go for maybe 120 or you know, Liverpool signing players for 116. And when you think about Declan Rice at the time, 100 million, I was thinking, oh God, that's a bit. I know we do the song now that we got him half price and everything because he has turned out to be like one of our best players, but and he was quality at West Ham anyway. And I still think to this day, if he got the opportunity to retire, he will go back to West Ham and retire at West Ham because it's his boyhood club.
I think he joined at a club, as well, and he had that progression with a lot of, someone like Noble. I know I feel he goes a bit underrated with other clubs, but as a captain, as someone who represents the club, and who's someone who was obviously mentoring Rice, I think his kind of role is really undervalued. If you didn't have him at the club, do you get the Declan Rice that you get
Yeah,
today? I don't know, but yeah, with him going, as to segue from the Mohammed Judas sort of discussion, I just think,
yeah.
yeah, we felt at the time, I felt at the time, he wanted to win trophies. So, we obviously won the trophy, Europa Conference League, which was amazing. I never thought I'd ever see us lift the trophy. And to see him kind of go after that was a bit disappointing, but it was the right decision. But I always felt, if you want to win trophies, are Arsenal the right club? With all due respect, Man City were flying,
I mean, look, we
and
haven't really been doing much, have we? Really? So it's
yeah, but it's so difficult, like
yeah.
especially with Liverpool's resurgence now and Man City. I mean, it's just tough. But anyway, that was my gripe with him going to Arsenal. And anyway, we don't kind of think of him anymore. Players
Do you
leave,
think
you
the
move
Kudus
on.
thing? Do you think the Kudus thing was just partially on because they won the Europa League and they have Champions League? Do you think that because you go back to what you're saying is like winning trophies, and I'm my argument is that the Europa League it was a pretty poor league with for
Well,
United and Tottenham to get to, and even like a lot of the top managers predicted that it would be a United Spurs final, Mourinho being one of them. And it was a poor final to that. Spurs are going to just absolutely be like completely biased to the whole situation. Just so it is what it is. You have to be in it, and you're in it to win it, and we do all this. Yeah, I get it, but are they going to go off and win the Champions League? No, probably not. Are they going to go off and win the league? No, probably not. It's a bit of a weird one for me because their expectations were, I think, a bit too much than what they actually had
yeah.
within the Europa League. Um, they probably did go into that final thinking that they were going to get beat by United. I think a lot of them probably did think that.
I
Um,
mean, it was two such poor teams in terms of the league positions anyway.
mm,
And I mean, I had no real, I know Tottenham are kind of rivals. I don't really have too much animosity. I've got a mate who supports Tottenham, and I wasn't really too bothered who won that final. But I think where you're going with your question, if I may say, I just think that like with us winning the Conference League, obviously people went, oh yeah, it's like the worst cup to win. Trust me, we to win a cup is amazing, and I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. So I
yeah,
wouldn't
because
like
you won the
demean.
Conference League, and it's just like it's from then on in, you lost obviously Rice and that, and then it's just like you've kind of set it's gone even further back. It's
I,
it,
I, I think when you change managers, like we did with Moyes and Lopetegui came in, and then we've changed again. That stability just crumbles away, and you've got
yeah.
different philosophies. And I think that's in part the difficulty with us at the moment. But and it's hard to maintain that kind of. I mean, we were lucky enough to be in Europe a couple of seasons, and it's just difficult. So many teams have advanced further from your Villas to Newcastle or Forest. The league is just so. I look at the fixtures now, and you used to be like, "Oh, we'll have 3 points there, we'll have 3 points there." And if you're realistic, it's like, God, these are going to be tough to play. These are tough. But I think that
Yeah.
I think with West Ham, it's just yeah, I feel a bit bruised by it. But then again, when you think of other elements, i.e., he wasn't performing well, his best position he couldn't dislodge Bowen from. Maybe it's not all doom and gloom, but yeah, the price for me is we
Because
shouldn't be
Bowen is
selling to
still a
especially
quality
Tottenham.
player in himself anyway, so you've got the right player to replace him.
I mean, Bowen is just, yeah, I mean, he is representing club captain. can't afford to let him go. He is literally the crown jewel for us, and his
Yeah.
performances haven't faltered. He got injured, come back, and still hitting them, high performances. So yeah, and I don't think there's any real danger of him. He signed a long contract in going, but and again, James, you talk about sellable assets. Who else do we have that is a sellable asset apart from Bowen, which we would not want to get rid of? We've got Kudus, and then arguably Paqueta. That would be the only two that you could argue would generate a decent amount of money for. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
It,
but I feel. Oh, sorry.
no, go on, carry on, carry on.
No, I was just saying. I just feel that the club will get beyond that, and in essence, it's not a big loss when you think about that side of things. But we shouldn't be letting Tottenham get a player like that for 54 mil. I think he'll do well under Thomas Frank, and yeah, it's Tottenham got the better end of the deal for me.
I've been an Arsenal fan as well. We've been going through this for years now of buying Chelsea players and Chelsea reject players, and it's still an ongoing thing by the sounds of it. Which is it's a bit ludicrous because back in the day you wouldn't even think about buying a player or a player moving on towards another club, and it's to me, like you say, it's a bit of a Judas thing in our day to see these players go into rival like clubs, and it's kind of like, oh, we've got bin bags of Chelsea players just sitting on the side that we've had in the past. Oh, we've 2 seconds. I do apologise for that. Everyone, does have malfunctions with technology. Technology is the worst. I think it's got worse in our in our day because I try and do stuff like, and I'm like, how has technology got better when it's actually worse now? Like
I
it's,
know that was
you'd
on
think
my
they'd
end.
make
So
batteries like live longer, wouldn't you? Like,
you'd think so, yeah, yeah. That's not on my end.
um,
So sorry about that.
but yeah,
Typical.
no, that's fine. So yeah, what we're talking about, players moving on, and like I say, with the Chelsea players that we have, it is a bit of it's a bit of an upset because when you think about the days of like Sol Campbell coming from Spurs to
Cool.
Arsenal, it was a massive uproar. And this day, it's like some people are just acting like it's just normal. I know with Madueke coming in from Chelsea, there's been an uproar at Arsenal. I think that's just maybe because of the decision of what Arteta's making, and people are just fed up with it. But yeah, with the Kudus thing, I don't know if it's going to be a project for him to go on and further himself better, or it's just he just wants Champions League.
I think yeah, he's signing for the Tottenham that are Champions League, qualifiers. And I think yeah, the project that they've got, Morgan Gibbs White, right, is another player they're rumored to be interested in. So that's
Yeah,
another appealing acquisition. And then when you just think about the stadium, they're definitely a kind of an appealing project.
yeah.
And yeah, again, he has no loyalty to us, so it's not too surprising. But when it comes to maybe Tottenham do bad, he has his Champions League run. Maybe he plays well. If another club comes in for him, then he'll be gone, I'm sure.
Have you just got rid of Aaron Cresswell as well? He's gone? Is he?
Yeah, he was out of contract if memory serves. So I mean, what a servant he's been for our club. Let me
Hmm.
just say. Yeah, I think him, Sufal, and Fabianski were the ones that have left. And yeah, Creswell. I did see Creswell on a clip the
Fabianski,
other
didn't he
day.
come from us? He came from Arsenal, didn't he?
Yeah, I think maybe he went somewhere else and we got him. It wasn't directly from Arsenal. I can't
Well,
recall.
yeah, no,
But
yeah,
Fabianski again, another brilliant servant for us. He
yeah,
really has been there for some seasons. And it's sad when players who understand the club, like your Creswell, like your Nobles, James Collins, they
yeah,
leave. And then you're kind of, you want someone to carry on the brand, represent what West Ham are all about, same as what you
yeah.
would do with Arsenal. And
Hmm.
luckily, I think Bowen, even though he's come to the club, somewhat only some years ago, he knows what it's all about. He's married into the family with the Dyers, who are West Ham fans, and he just knows the club. So it's lovely to have someone there, not only who's a good footballer, but who knows how
Yeah,
you should behave. What the fans are about and stuff like that.
of course, yeah, of course. Just to look on some of your transfer rumors, and this is probably one of the best ones out of the lot. Harvey Elliott from Liverpool. You've been linked up with him. I mean, that would be a brilliant signing, I think, for West Ham if you got Harvey Elliott because he knows how to knock him in the back of the net.
I think he would be an absolute brilliant signing. Now, the thing with me is as well, until they're in the shirt, I mean, I know there's always football talk going on, and especially with transfers. But I mean, we've had so many where it's like, oh, we're interested in this, and you wonder how true it is. Now, Harvey Elliott is a quality player. I think we would be overjoyed to have him at the club.
Yeah,
But then I think about, no European football for us. How feasible is that to achieve? I'm not so sure. I'd love to think it is, one of those rumours that is actually there's some meat behind it, but I don't know. But I think he'd be a good player. The only player, that I think the Diouf, there's a guy called
yeah,
Diouf who I
yeah,
think's on the verge of signing. I think he's done medicals and everything, um, which is the only one I think that is kind of feels like it's going to happen.
yeah. I mean, it just doesn't seem that West Ham are looking potentially to rebuild, and this is where West Ham kind of need to look at when it in the window because if they don't start making some proper good moves, then you have to start feeling a bit worried for West Ham, really, because where did you finish last season? Did you finish 15th,
14th, I think,
14th,
which is
14th,
we
somewhere
were
there?
lucky with those last sort of games, and
like
obviously Man
like
U
I
and
said
Tottenham.
to before to my Tottenham friend, and by the way, when I say Tottenham friend, we don't associate in that way, like we like fans, like. But yeah, he said also he agreed as well that if United and Tottenham weren't so bad that last season, that West Ham could have even been even lower than what they were.
Well, you got the three teams that come up, and obviously I think they had some record or nearly record losses. I can't remember, but yeah, I was saying that throughout the season. So we're so lucky that there are three worse teams than us. And I mean, I wasn't talking to any Man U fans at the time, but yeah, we were just lucky. That the performances were so bad, James, last year for us.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it
remember
was a
watching.
really weird season last season, weren't it?
Yeah,
It was pretty dull to be fair. It wasn't the most exciting season of them all, was it? I mean, wasn't really much to talk about in scenarios. I mean, obviously with United Tottenham being that low, I mean that was probably one of the key moments of the whole season of to talk about. Liverpool kind of ran away with it. I said in December it's theirs. You kind of judge it when it gets to January of how
yeah.
the league's panning out. But yeah, with West Ham, where did you finish the season before? Was you
Oh,
mid-table or
well, God, that's a good. Yeah, I'm terrible with remembering. We were kind of
because obviously when
mid-table.
we think about it, of like going back to that Conference League win, it was in Europe, and it's when you go back to how everything's panned out, you're like, how have West Ham gone from Europe days to just and it just goes all back to the transfers, doesn't it?
But I think as well, we had David Moyes as manager, and like
Yeah,
you know, praise be to him for getting us that trophy. But again, it overshadowed our league performances. Were not very good under him, and there were a lot of frustrations with him being manager. Now, I was in favour of him going when he did, just because there's a lot of frustrations with him. He used a very small squad. I always felt our players would run into the ground. I would make subs very late. I would argue that he undervalued our players. We let Ben Rama go. Now he wasn't,
yeah,
an amazing player, but I thought he was good. But I think he was the most subbed player in the
yeah.
league the season that like Moyes kind of had him and stuff. And I thought that was an unfortunate kind of association. But it just goes to show that we bit of a scapegoat there. We let Fornells go, not for good money either, and
Mm.
Moyes just loved to use that small squad. And I just think, as soon as you get a couple of injuries, James, like you're struggling, especially to a couple of good players.
We
And I
know,
just
yeah,
feel
we know.
it was unsustainable. And then, of course, when you get the new manager in, he wants to bring in different players. And I think that it's just very difficult, especially for a club like us, to maintain that continued, getting into Europe when other teams are progressing and spending a lot of money. And yeah, we've faltered. It's quite sad to see, especially with Forest and Villa and all that.
Yeah,
But I think that the good thing about it, because I don't want it to be all doom and gloom as a West Ham fan, but thinking on the positives, Potter has had a bit of a season now as manager, and he
Yeah,
starts the new season fresh. So I'm
yeah,
hoping he has an idea of what he wants, the kind of personnel he wants to bring in, and he establishes at least a bit of a identity moving forward. Because I was a bit disappointed with him tail end of the season. I
mm,
think that all from his time at Brighton and Chelsea, thought he'd be a great manager to have. He's tactically, knows what he's doing, not afraid to mix it up, plays youth. These are good kind of points that West Ham fans I think would be looking for. But he didn't really. He kind of under. I think he underperformed with us. I didn't really see a bounce. I didn't really see anything to be too excited about at that tail end when he took over. And he's had a lot of games, well, a fair few games now. So I'm just hoping
yeah.
that whoever we go for, whether it is Elliot and it's someone the manager wants to bring in, and we at least go for him. There's no shame in going for these players. If we
I
don't
mean,
get
talking
them,
about that Elliot, I mean, it's a bit of a shock to me because he's a quality player, and when he
yeah,
comes on, he bangs them in. I'm just like, I'm a bit shocked, but obviously you've got to make room for the signings that they've, and it's just to look at, is he actually going to get any more game time because they're looking at the depth now, aren't they? So, you
yeah,
know, if he hasn't got a lot of clubs crying out to sign him, then yeah, okay, West Ham is probably like one of the better options. You know, he knows he's probably going to get a lot more game time then as well. If he does go to West Ham, he's probably going to be one of your first options, isn't he? So,
yeah.
um,
And if I mean, we've got some good players as well. If we can build on, the Bowen, the Wan-Bissaka, we can maybe, we can maybe even get a player like Elliot in. We can do well. We can have a good season, but
yeah, of course.
I think that, and also as well, James, we've had Somerville who's been injured for a while. He arguably, played very well with us when we bought him from Leeds. He's been out
Yeah,
of action for a long while. He hopefully will come back into the team,
yeah,
start the season. Fulkrug, who has definitely got a good footballing brain about him. He also was injured for a long while,
yeah.
so we'd have him at the top. Somerville, Bowen. I
Fine,
don't
yeah.
really know what's happening with Paqueta, but it's not all doom and gloom for us, which is good.
No, no, yeah. Like I say, if you bring in a couple more signings, then I would say that you've got more of a chance to just keep into that mid-table. I can't see you
Yeah,
getting up to Europe, but you never know with football. Things could absolutely go the other way around than what we all predict. We've seen it before. Like we said with the Man United and Tottenham, if I'd have told you
yeah,
they were going to be dead bottom of the bottom of the table at the end of the season, everyone would have laughed at me.
yeah.
I've
You'd never,
I've actually in my predictions I've put Bournemouth to go down next season. It's just
really?
one of them guesses that I've just done. I just have a feeling that it's going to happen. It like 90% probably isn't going to happen, but you never know in football these days. It just could be an absolute shit show for them. Sorry, my language. But it could be. I just
But
want to
there's always.
quickly go
Oh
on.
yeah, sorry, go. No, I was
Yeah,
just going to
go
say
on.
there's always that one team that does really well, like surprises you, or one team that does really badly. My
Yeah,
personal feeling is that Brentford are going to struggle just because I think they lost Nor. You bought Norgard, right?
Norgard. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that's a really big
And then
loss for them.
Buemo potentially going to United. Yeah, that they a lot of people have said that they're going to be struggling. I think next season as well. But look, moving on quickly because we haven't got much time left. I would just want to
No
go
problem.
through the opening games of West Ham. Now you've got Sunderland starting off on the 16th of August. That's away. That's kind of a tough game because if you look at if when you look at newly promoted teams, when you first look at them, you go, "Oh God, why are we playing them?" Because they have that kind of urge and that passion that they've just got into the Premier League. They want it. They want to fight for it. I hate playing newly promoted teams like at the
Yeah,
start of the season. It's rubbish for
mate, I'm totally the same, and they're going to be so up for it. And why
yeah,
not? You get to play in the Premier League. Some of them players probably haven't played in the Premier League, and they've just got that. They've just got that first game kind of no fear, like energy, and we're the ones that are under the cosh because we are the Premier League team, if you like,
yeah,
to beat them. And I agree, James. I think that ain't as easy as people will
yeah.
probably assume.
And
And
then just after that, you've got Chelsea, which is
yeah,
Club World Cup winners.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you
I
know,
saw that. Palmer
uh,
on fire.
That was
and it,
did you watch that final?
I didn't watch it, to be fair. I saw a bit of it. I flicked over and I saw Palmer's. I didn't see the first goal. Then I saw his
Yeah.
second, and I was just like, God, this guy
What
is
was Donald
just.
Trump doing, by the way? That was funny.
Oh, he just loves to get
Just,
involved, don't
you
he?
know,
With a
he just he doesn't understand football as you know as we do, and I think he just like thought because it's in America, I can stand here and take most of the limelight. You can see Cole Palmer in the background going, "What is he doing?" Like, you know, he's like he's dead in view of Palmer, so Palmer's like that, you know,
yeah.
and you just like even I was a bit confused with the whole thing, you know.
I like the guy who was trying to drag him off or trying to like gesture
Chris,
to him
yeah,
to
yeah,
come
yeah,
off,
yeah,
and he was just
yeah.
standing there like, "Nah, I'm
Yeah,
involved."
no, no, he's like, I'm Donald Trump, I do what I want. Um,
Yeah,
he's, I was just a bit all baffled with it, but now we've got to listen to Chelsea like ranting on for the next 4 years that they're Club World Cup champions, you know.
yeah. But,
Um,
I'll tell you what, James. I know you got questions, but I'm very surprised at Chelsea how they've moved in the market and stuff. I think they're
yeah,
going to be very good next year,
yeah,
this year.
they're going to be one
Season.
to watch. They're going to be one to
Yeah,
watch. Just quickly running through these, then you got Nottingham Forest as well.
yep.
Depending on how like this Gibbs White thing goes, and obviously the Alanga moving from Forest as well potentially. That could be a draw to easy 3 points for you. You know,
I would like to think we could win that game. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's a winnable
And
one.
then after that is the big one for you is Tottenham, and Kudus like you know returns back to
Yeah,
West Ham.
it's that typical.
Do you think he's going to get a few boos in that game? Do you reckon?
Oh mate, yeah, he's gonna get crucified in that game,
But
and
do you know what?
fairly
Sometimes I
so.
don't like that. You know, they did it with Declan Rice with Arsenal, and I'm like, you do realise this guy's probably going to want to come back to West Ham to finish his career off. You know?
I think with the Declan Rice thing, yeah, and there are some fans. There's always going to be a bit of a, one set of fans think this, one set of fans think that. For me, when Rice left, I had no problem with him kind of going. I was gutted, but I think it was more the fact it was to, again, Arsenal, another London club. Now, no two
Yeah.
ways about it. Arsenal can offer more chance to win trophies than we could.
I mean,
So I get all that.
also have to like put in perspective that how the player feels because he might be settled in London. He might not want to move out of London. He might not want to, you know, sometimes it goes between we sometimes think we less to forget that players have feelings about their move, where they want to be. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's not
Yeah,
all just like, oh, why did he not go to Manchester United or why didn't he go to like Everton? Because maybe they might not want to move up there. They might actually like it in London. Do you know what I mean? So it is one
yeah.
of them things.
Oh yeah, I think now I wasn't one of them would want to boo him. If I went to the match, I would never boo him because what he done for us, and I like to think
Yes.
what we done for him. We gave him a
Yeah.
platform. He expressed himself, played really well, and I wish him the best of luck. I no animosity. I have
That
fond
guy's
memories of
made more
Rice.
moves than a chessboard, let me tell you this now. I mean, he was Irish, then he was English. He was Hammer, he's Arsenal. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, that is
the
true.
boy's a little bit confused, to be fair.
I forget about the Irish thing, to be fair. I think I saw a clip of him in an Irish shirt a few like
Yeah,
months
yeah.
back, and I was like, oh
He
yeah, he
played for
was
the under
Irish.
21s, didn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. So
And
yeah,
then he
maybe.
decided he didn't want to continue his career at Ireland and went to England. And that is Judas. He's
Well, yeah. I
like,
mean, if I was Irish, I would be feeling a certain way.
yeah,
But
yeah. Look,
yeah,
listen, look, we are running out of time, Izzy. It's good to have you on the show. Before we leave this,
thank you.
though, I would like to get your top four predictions. So we're going to go from fourth to first. So starting from
Oh,
fourth place, who are you going to put?
this could be controversial. I am leaning towards Arsenal being fourth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I understand that. I did. I even my predictions. I didn't put us to win it either. Or a lot of people have dropped us down a bit. It could be a dodgy season for us. Yeah, it could be.
I just think with Liverpool so strong, Man City, so I'm
Yeah.
revealing the top two
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But again, I'd throw Chelsea into the mix now. I just think they're really getting somewhere like with that
Right.
team as the signings they've bought.
Okay. So
Palmer seems to be dropping
I
off.
don't want to talk too much into it because we're running out of time. But we're going to go
No
Arsenal
problem.
fourth, third,
Chelsea,
Chelsea. Okay. Yeah. Second,
Manchester City,
and then we're going to go Liverpool. A lot of people are saying that Liverpool are just going to win this league again.
Yeah.
Signings are brilliant, aren't they? And let's just quickly go for your bottom three as well.
Or
So from 18th to 20th. So 18th,
to be mixing it up, Brentford.
Brentford. All right, yeah, understandable.
Then
Yeah,
I would go 19th. So it was. So I would go Sunderland,
Sunderland to go back down. Okay, yeah,
and then it'd have to be Burnley.
and
I'll
Burnley
give
as well to go
Leeds
back
a
down.
shout at staying up.
Staying up. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? That's fair. You know what, Izzy? It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And
Oh, thanks, mate. Been
I
great.
hope to get you back on. We are going to start this match week madness thing when the season starts, where me, a Tottenham fan, and another Arsenal fan, we go head to head with our predictions and that. But we're also going to have guests on
Nice.
there with us. So every week it'll be a different guest. So it would be great to have you back on. Obviously, to have
Oh,
you
I'd love
back
that,
on as
mate.
well on one-on-one fan talk, maybe when the season starts as well, to
Yeah,
talk about games that have just gone or your thoughts on decisions and stuff like that. But it
that'd be
was
wicked.
absolutely
Yeah.
great to have you on. It was absolutely great.
Thanks, James. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having
Yeah.
me, mate.
And I'll keep in contact with you anyway, and we'll get some more videos out and done in the meantime. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button, share all the content, and hit the bell to get notified on new content that comes out. I've been James from One Way Football, and thank you very much, Izzy, for coming on. And we shall see
Thank
you
you, mate.
very soon.
Take care. All the best.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate. All the best, mate.